Session meeting is called to order at 5:15 p.m. If you would like to make a comment during the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, there's a sign-in roster located at each entrance. Please sign in. If anyone wishes to make a comment now, state your name, city of residence for the record. Limit your comment to 3 minutes. We will have a timer for your reference. If not, I will now turn the meeting over to Planning and Development Director Brian Chandler.
All right. Good evening, everyone. And my update is going to be relatively short. We didn't have any zoning cases, actually any council cases, so there's really no update on their actions. But in terms of tonight's agenda, of course, we just have the one plat, and this is for a mixed-use development on Kegley. Y'all may remember a fairly in-depth rezoning. It's a large tract. And so I wanted to have Jason give you a quick update, just kind of how it ties together to the zoning ordinance. So a little bit more than, what's in the typical plat presentation. But also before that, I also want to give you a heads up because we've received some inquiries, and you all as planning and zoning commissioners might hear from neighbors in the Lakewood Ranch subdivision. They've started to contact us. They're concerned about the quarry. The quarry continues to expand. They continue to operate legally as far as we know, but there are complaints just about their continued expansion, trees coming down. And so they're concerned because the impact on them is more and more direct every day. So we're working on a response to the neighbors, related to, hey, tree preservation. We don't have anything in our code that would require them to preserve those trees, but we're looking at whether there are dust complaints, noise complaints, and I believe 2020. Jason reminded me that council approved kind of a new schedule, inspection schedule to ensure compliance for them. I think is it on an annual basis, perhaps. I think that was during 2020. So we're looking at all of that, but just in case you all hear from anybody, that's kind of, that this is as of today. So we're trying to see what we can do. But part of it is, hey, when the Unified Development Code gets updated, which of course we're working on, when there are community meetings, that's an opportunity for them to express their opinion and where maybe our regulations could change. So
off Kegley?
No, it's off the one it's off 317, the Miller Springs. Yes, that one.
Okay.
So yeah. So it's sorry. So it's actually not tied to that project. Okay. It's not too far from there, but
Lakewood people. I'm a farm.
Yes, and just okay. Before Jason went on to that, I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up on that, and also just for what it's worth, we'll look to see if it's still on the market. There have been developers that there was a broker out of Dallas that was working with us with different prospects, development prospects, bringing them in. This was actually while I was out during the summer, looking at different mixed use developments, which our future land use plan would call for. So it's interesting that, the owners are looking at selling. I don't know if it's still on the market, but as far as I know, nobody is closed on the property. But either way, it looks like that would be a longer term project, not like next year, but years. So, the price is very high. Okay. They're very proud of their land.
Big hole in the ground?
Yeah.
Make a lake?
Well, there are lots of good examples of redevelopment of quarries. I spent 13 years working in San Antonio where they've made a living out of doing that. Great projects. Alamo Quarry Market, if y'all have ever been over there, big smokestacks, used to be the Alamo Cement Company. Well, the quarry across the street, cement company, quarry, makes sense. Now it's a great shopping center, mixed use development. And so anyway, it's exciting for the future, but right now I know those neighbors are not very excited. So. All right. So that's enough of that update. I'll let Jason just give you a quick update on our plat case.
I think a good number of the commissioners were part of this plan development. If you remember, there were two requests. The first one was the mixed use. They had shown some areas that could be general retail, neighborhood services, or townhomes. That one was not passed and then withdrawn before it went to council. They went back to the drawing board, met with the neighbors, came back with a concept for single family only, which is why you see the yellow area. You know, there may be something that comes out closer to Kegley in the future. That would be the subject of another zoning case. So what's in front of us tonight is just the single family. There was a lot of work with this one related to connectivity. So as you see Kegley Road, you know, we're looking sideways here. North is to the right. You've got Kegley Road. They're providing these three collectors, one that runs through the development, and then two that come out, and then there's a street stub. This is the site plan, the concept that everyone ultimately agreed to, with limits on the number of homes based on subdivision standards. And so this is the preliminary plat that they're bringing forward. So you see that there's the curved drive or curved collector tear drive that runs north-south. Jupiter and Tanglehead will come out to Kegley. And then there's a number of street projections, and there's trails to be constructed bound on the drainage channel and down Pepper Creek. So, and I'll go into a little bit more detail during the presentation, but that's the general concept, is that it was originally mixed use. It is now zoned for single family. They're bringing the first plat is the preliminary plat, and then we'll see when the two final plats come forward. Right now we're at the preliminary. 300 homes in the preliminary, and without doing the whole presentation in the workshop, do you have any questions at this time?
They still, that Jupiter Drive, they still trying to make that fire.
That is, they're not trying to, it's required. Yeah, it's not going to be an open street to go through. It'll be a gate that'll be available if it's needed. The first responders would open, but it's not going to be open for traffic.
I get first responders, but truly somebody in the neighborhood have code or button. That's my big.
Yeah.
Because
I
I see private roads all the time that are just
Mhm.
private and they're open. And one that used to be taken from 439 to I-14 right there over the railroad tracks, and I took that every day.
Yeah.
That's just my biggest worry.
So let me make sure I'm understanding. Your concern is that someone from the neighborhood is going to find a way to open that gate.
Scheduling, even after they're done. Just basically 5 o'clock is when you bring that traffic.
Yep.
Trying to get out of the neighborhood or not gonna want to. They're gonna find an alternate. That's my worry, is somebody in the neighborhood having access to that gate,
Mhm.
even if it's just one person. Because then if someone goes through it once, they're gonna go through it every time. That's my biggest worry. Now, it's something where only the fire department and an ambulance and the police have like a.
That's what they've got. It's called a Knox box.
Okay, so that's it. They're the one, so nobody. in
That's
the neighborhood.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wanna have
That
it
said,
open
though,
if the
I
traffic-
mean, I think it's a great question, and sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, wouldn't we want to have it open if the concern is traffic, like then isn't another road a better?
Jupiter, yeah,
So the plan for it is like for emergency crews to be able to come there, Kegley's backed up. Yeah, not for open.
yeah. If there was a wildfire, grass fire, and the people need to
Sure.
evacuate, gives you 3 points to get out instead of just 2.
Right.
But I think it's a great question. It's honestly, it's not something that we really. I'll have to talk to the fire marshal. It may be something that they've had to address, and it's not come up. Brian, has it ever?
Now, in my understanding, Kyle, correct me if you've heard differently, my understanding is that no one else has access to it. It was click to enter gate, Knox box,
Mhm.
but only emergency. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the current condition of Jupiter. That's why we don't want addition, and the neighbors didn't want any more traffic down there either, not until such time as the road can be improved, CIP project or development comes in on that side and that developer is responsible for that improvement. Then that changes the equation slightly.
Which I think,
Time will tell.
no.
But yeah, it does, it's a great question. How often does the fire marshal, because we've got different areas where they have that Knox box to enter, they call it a click to enter. How often does the fire marshal go out and check those to make sure they haven't been tampered with? I don't know, but it's a great question and I'll ask.
And, a neighborhood of 300 houses. I'm hoping if one of the neighbors knows it's open, they're gonna call somebody and get it fixed, so.
Right.
Or.
Yeah.
Well, it's the people, it's the people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know they had a little bit of issue with maintenance on another one, just off 31st, all 31st and 93. Where it's only emergency exit, but they had a little maintenance issue and streets found it.
Yeah.
Taken care of.
Yeah.
Belterra.
Yes, yeah. So any other questions? We'll go through the whole presentation once we hit the regular agenda.
Thanks, Jason. Commissioner Morales is going to give the invocation. Commissioner Carney will do the pledge. And we'll now hear from Tiffany in regards to affidavits.
Commissioners, for the record, one affidavit to abstain has been received for this meeting. Is this correct? Thank you.
Hear any additional business? If not, the work session is closed at 5:27 PM.